Let's see why we're not streaming on Steam. Let's get Steam up and running. Okay, we're streaming. Let's grab the link for this. And I'll just tag everybody in the Discord. Hello, Real Smurf and Mr. Boberman. Yeah, let's get started. Sorry, I was almost ready to stream around 7:30 p.m., so that's about an hour ago. And then I realized that I was still having issues with the controller being detected. Part of it is because, as a developer, when I build the game, it launches with a bunch of Steam API stuff, but not via Steam, and I think that's caused some issues with the controller input. So I've added a development flag I can add when I launch the game, which launches it without Steam, and that seems to fix the controller issues. So I think if you're a customer, players bought the game and through the Steam Marketplace, your controller should work fine. It's just a development issue I've got on my side. Hello 2026 Poland and Storm Fury. Thank you for joining. This is really quick. Usually I have to wait a few minutes for everybody to get in on the stream and join the chat. How am I? I'm doing good, thanks. I hope you're doing well. I had this idea for the game a couple of days ago, and it's taken a couple of days to get implemented. I've not actually played a full game with this new feature that I've added. I imagine it's going to get insanely chaotic by the end of the stream, so I'm really excited for this. So yeah, I'll explain what the new feature is. It's here, it's chemicals. So this isn't really written anywhere, but you can kind of infer it from the in-game menus and so on. What it'll do is every 100 samples that it takes of each data type, it'll release some chemical into the atmosphere, and that'll change the tornado's behavior in some way, and it's going to be different for each tornado. So some tornadoes might respond really well to, say, temperature data and the chemical associated with that, whereas others may respond a little bit to each of them. Some may only respond to one and none of the others. But the idea is that each of those chemicals influences the tornado. So some will make the tornado more intense, some will make the tornado wider, some will slow the tornado's ground speed down, and the other one will make the path deviance. So this is how wobbly the tornado track is. Some will decrease that towards 0. So I think I'm going to disable hunts for this because it's going to be chaotic enough without the hunts. And it doesn't matter, this is top 21% of chases. We can modify the tornado. Will there be a tutorial just like in the Legacy version? So there's not going to be a kind of like a walkthrough tutorial in the same way as the Legacy version. What I'm going to introduce are emails. So you'll have emails about things which happen in the game. I'm also going to add a storyline to this campaign as well. Like not the campaign, I guess. Career mode would be more correct. There's going to be emails, so you'll periodically receive emails explaining each of the mechanics in the game. So it'll start with the basics, like how to drive, how to sound sirens, how to navigate, open your map, and so on. And then it'll get to more specific things like how to use chemicals to modify the behavior of the tornado. So yeah, let's go play with some chemicals. Yeah, I've just been watching Breaking Bad, so not in that way. Right, so let's just show the data page. So we have our multiplier here, which these are your multipliers. These are just your earnings multipliers for the normal gameplay. What we'll have here is showing you how many samples away you are until you've taken 100 samples, and then that's the point that'll release some sort of chemical into the atmosphere. So wind will increase the wind speed, pressure will increase the width of the tornado, temperature will decrease the ground speed, and dew point will decrease the deviance. So this will tick up to 100 and then tick back to 0, and then it'll tick up again. So once you're up to, like, say 175 total samples for wind, this will say 75, so everything's mod 100. And yeah, That's what you see. So this is which level you're on. So how many times has the chemical been released, and this is how many samples you're away from it. I do need to redo this because there's a lot of text here, and I need to replace this with graphics. But that's what that is. We don't need cape. Let me switch back to my controller. Let's look at reflectivity. So the core's to our south. Let's look at velocity. Have we got a couplet yet? But no, not yet. But I imagine the couplet's going to be to our south. So I think we'll drive a little bit north to that intersection just there, and then that gives us north, south, east, and west options. Let's get the headlights on. Yeah, I just still think it's interesting how if I use keyboard and mouse, the external view is my preferred view, but when I'm using the controller, the internal view is. So I think we'll just start with wind speed, plus getting this carried as well is going to add even more to the feedback loop because it's going to stay in the tornado funnel for longer. We've got a nice, like we say, noisy, rugged wall cloud there. Right, we've got the couplet. It's to our southeast. Which way is that moving? It looks like it's moving towards... Oh, this is going to be a big tornado. Look at the size of that wall cloud. That's before we've even done any of the atmospheric seeding. Still going to make hunts disabled by default. Well, I don't think I need to make it disabled by default. I think what I should make it do is remember your last choice. So you disable it on your first play, and then it should just remember what you've chosen. Okay, there's the funnel there. That's looking very land spouty. How to start multi-vortex. Yeah, there isn't a chemical to trigger multi-vortex, but as you increase the wind speed, it will... As you increase the wind speed, it will be more likely to become multi-vortex. Where's this track? And let's turn velocity off. I was heading straight north. Okay, I think our vehicle's strong enough that we can kind of park in the path here, because it's still not fully formed. And let's see how it responds to wind speed. We need to get north. So yeah, I saw your comment, Real Smurf, about what you can do with the radar coverage. Yeah, that's possible. It adds additional computations that the CPU and GPU have to do. I imagine they wouldn't be that strenuous though. So yeah, it's possible. Then we could have different radar sites which get hit and go down. I can definitely add that to the to-do list. That looks very menacing already. I haven't even modified it yet. Alright, let's just plan our intercept here. Let's try and race it up here. You know, that thing's already moving 40. So there's different strategies here, because what I could try is sampling temperature and slowing its ground speed down first. And then that gives us more time to modify it. So this opens up a lot more strategy. Each chase can vary. Even if the tornado follows the exact same track, you can play it differently depending on which chemicals you decide to use. Right, I'm getting ready to do a rapid deploy. So let's get quick deploy ready. And we need to do that right about here. Hopefully we can keep our speed up and not get overrun by the tornado. And we need to figure out a way to get north. Not very many good north options here. Yeah, there really isn't. I think we'll go north here and off-road it for a bit. But demolishing things already. See, I didn't have time to change the mode to temperature. Oh, it is actually turning slightly northeast as well. How did we do in terms of data? Oh yeah, we need to get 100 samples, and then I was testing it with every 50 samples, and it got too chaotic too quickly. I think every 100 samples is a good middle ground. Not too doesn't. It's not so slow that you don't feel like you're having any impact on the tornado, but not so fast that the game becomes unmanageable within the first few minutes. Ah, it stopped at 91. Okay, quick recall. We need to go for another intercept. Hello, Neon. Yeah, I could bring back the old mechanic of increasing your radar's range as well. Put development updates on the Discord last night. Will that be in career mode, or will it be a separate game mode? It's going to be in career mode, because you can use the chemicals to modify the tornadoes to help your data gathering so that you can level up more quickly. Right, we need to get on this stretch of motorway. That thing is flying. Where do we need to be? Where do we need to be? This thing's looking to go off the map quite quickly. Yeah, I think getting on that motorway is the best thing we can do right now. I call it the slip road, but I guess the American term would be the on-ramp. Oh yeah, I do need to do that. The logic's there to toggle the tornado track, so yeah, I just need to add a button. It'll be there on the radar overlays there on the top left. Right, let me get in front of this thing. Right, let's go first person. It's turning northwest. Right, we need to try and slow it down. Oh no, is the bridge collapsed? Ah! Yeah, it took out the... It took it out. Oh, we're about to get there, we go. Okay, that did react to wind speed, so wind speed's just increased 17%. So every 100 samples we gather of wind speed, it's going to increase the wind speed 17%. Right, we need... I do want to change the mode though. Get out the truck, configure, and we're going to change this to temperature because that slows it down. Right, let's try and slow this thing down. That's if it has an affinity for temperature related chemicals. We'll find that out in a second. Okay, I've got to make sure I not drive through forest because dodging trees costs us time. And one thing I need to do as well is add like particle effects, so every 100 samples the probe visibly releases some sort of chemical. Maybe I make them color coded. So how close are we to... Okay, we need 40 more samples of temperature, and then we may start slowing the ground speed down because it's moving 35 miles an hour right now, which is very fast. We're getting 134 mile an hour winds from this distance away, because it's probably got 350 mile per hour winds in there, I'd say. Oh, it has zero tolerance for ground speed, so let's not waste our time with that. I should try and make it wider. So that would be pressure. There we go. I do want to try and deploy something in the path so we can get an idea of how strong the wind speed got up to. So data, how we're doing on the pressure data. Nothing yet because we're not within that F1 range, but we can probably beat it through the forest and get to the intercept point probably right before we get out of the forest. So let's get this quick deploy ready. Right about here, and then I think we'll escape to the north. Right about here. Where is it? There it is. I'll get the probe camera up once I'm in a safe position. I'm really glad I don't have hunt enabled right now. Probe camera is getting F2 right now. Right. The game is noticeably lagging because it's rendering everything twice right now. 190 miles an hour. I don't think we've got it cleanly in the path of the tornado there. Plus 3% tornado size, so not much of an affinity for tornado size. It really responds to wind speed though. Look at that, let's just hop out and look at this thing. Oh, maybe let's try and go for one more intercept. We'll probably get one more intercept. Let's do a quick recall. I think we can get one more intercept before it goes off the map. Right, where's the intercept point? Out here? Quick deploy. And get out of here. Okay, it's 6% wider than it would have otherwise been. And that wind field is ginormous. What's the probe getting? 170, 180, 190. But controller's shaking like mad as well. I'm a bit too close. 220. Oh, we've got it in the left flank, which is probably why it's not responding very much. Whoa! That tree just cost us 37 samples. Maybe I need an F6 category. So certain stuff we got. Sorry, I'll catch up on the chat. This has been a bit intense. Let's wait for this to. I can see Neon's question. Did I upgrade the debris? I don't know what I mean by upgrade it. It's a setting, so you can choose to have more or less, depending on how much your hardware can hold. And then Neon, so I'm trying to get my mouse back. Do you plan on retaining the balance of gameplay where you got to make it bigger, stronger, but save towns in the way? Well, yeah, that's. That's. I forgot the question now. Yes. Do you need to have the balance? Yes. So, if you just blindly add chemicals to the tornado and don't think about which data you're gathering and how it's impacting the tornado, you could create a monster that destroys multiple times and absolutely annihilates your rescue score. So it's one of those with great power comes great responsibility type things. Yeah, the probe camera I think always looked like that. Should probably do a quick recall. It's not really going to be gathering any useful data over there. Will it make wall clouds random? They are already randomized. It's like the height, the radius, how ragged they're looking. That's all randomized. Right. Where do I want to be? The next tornado. let's try and get towards the northwest corner of the map, because it means the tornado is more likely to head southeast across the entire diagonal of the map. It'll give us plenty of time to experiment. So I'm just going to go west and then try and catch him on the chat. There's little lines coming down. Like the scan lines. There's a chance that there was some problem with the VHS shader that possibly fixed in the last few updates and brought those lines back. Because there was a period of time that VHS effects weren't rendering completely correctly. But then I fixed it, so maybe it's since you last saw it and since I fixed it, those additional, like, I think they're called scan lines, are becoming more noticeable now. Do you have something? Oh yeah, somebody suggested that. I've still got on the Trello. I haven't done it yet, but it is an option. It would essentially be never-ending mode. But yeah, I know what you're referring to. Another option we could have, maybe this would be more sandbox mode than career mode, is that instead of roping out once they go off the side of the map, instead the tornadoes bounce off the side of the map and continue going, kind of like the DVD menu thing. Randomly generated roundabouts in the game. So I have actually bought a road asset which let me do roundabouts and all sorts of fancy things. It just means I have to redesign every tile that has a road on it right now before I do it. So yeah, I could add roundabouts. I do actually want to create my local area where I live so that I could essentially drive my commute from my house to where I work. Obviously obfuscated somewhat so I don't get any stalkers. But it would be cool to be like driving my actual commute to work with in the game while having tornadoes pop up. Which, let's have a think. How many roundabouts between my house and work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. Mega Wedge in the smallest map. Yeah, it would probably just. Well, I guess if the center of it goes outside the map, so it would literally just be like just a vacuum, just hoovering up everything on the map. It would just the center would just be moving from edge to edge, but since it would be wider than the map, it would just be annihilating it. After a while, there'd just be nothing left. After a while, if it was a Mega Wedge, after a few minutes, there'll be nothing left. Yeah, so it's gone, which means we're about to get a new one. How close were we? So what have we currently got? We've currently got pressure, which increases the size. So let's stick with pressure, see how well the next one responds to it. What's our rescue score, by the way? 300. Okay, we've almost maxed out rescue score. What upgrades can we afford? I don't want to add weights to the truck. I think we just need to earn some good money. Maybe I could cash this in. It doesn't reset the chemicals, so I can cash this in. $21,000, I guess that wasn't really worth it. Right, I think it's time to start monitoring the radar. Let's get reflectivity up. Okay, it's going to be somewhere to our east. The way it works is, from wherever the tornado spawns, it'll choose a random point in the middle of the map. like it'll choose a random point in the box in the middle of the map and then set its initial path towards there. It's just to avoid, we had a stream where I had like 5 or 6 tornadoes in a row, like spawn right at the edge of the map and immediately move off the map, and it was just boring. Who wants to deal with that? So I'm doing a really bad job of keeping up with the chat. One sec. Will more wall cloud changes be implemented, like the wall clouds rotating depending on how strong a tornado is? So the wall clouds already change depending on how big the tornado is. So if the tornado has the potential to be bigger, it'll have a bigger wall cloud. The wall cloud kind of gives you the max possible size of the tornado. You have a question, and you know I'm a Twister fan. So here it is. Yeah, Marcus, I'm interested to hear it. Have you ever thought about VR support? Yeah, I have, and I just don't think technology's there. Like the game is already running hot enough on my gaming laptop. I think for VR, don't you have to render everything twice from a slightly different angle? I just don't think it would be playable. It would be really cool if I could do it, or I guess if a publisher was willing to port it to VR, I'd be totally behind it. I think it would be really cool. I just don't think it would run at the needed frame rate for that. Sorry, I know the game's paused, so I'm just catch up on chat. You closed the comments in the first video series from... Sorry, I can't... So I don't know what that's in reference to, Mr. Bubberman. How would scenarios from both movies sound? So I do actually kind of want to do that, but I do want to add Twister and Twister's scenarios, but I've got to make sure I don't like... I've got to make sure I don't try and make my game seem like it's officially affiliated with the movies, because it's nothing to do with the franchise. It's inspired by them, obviously, given the truck colouring and things, and the subject of it, but I don't know, it might be classed as like IP infringement or something to explicitly say this is the F2 from 1996 Twister. Whereas if I say something like, this is a ditch tornado, this is a tornado chases you through a ditch towards a bridge with a tractor on, or this is a tornado that hits a drive-through at a night time, I think those would be slightly different. I don't know why it's moving up. Looks like it's going to go off the map. The whole point is it's supposed to move towards the center of the map. Yeah, so horizontal vortices and being multiple vortex are two separate things. So the tornado needs to reach at least F4 strength, and then it has the possibility for both horizontal vortices and or multiple vortices. So they'll typically appear together, but that's just because the probability is high that both will happen, but there's nothing stopping it being multi-vortex without horizontal vortices, or horizontal vortices without being multi-vortex, if that makes sense. We hop out the truck. Okay, we're right under it. I'm yawning, I'm just tired. Oh, here's the tornado. I hope it's not moving off the map. Is it moving off the map? It looks like it is. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be doing that. The logic's there that that shouldn't happen. But it's still randomized as well. But that shouldn't really be happening. What I could do, instead of naming the cities, I could name the real life locations that they were filmed. So instead of the ditch twister, it could be the Wolf Road tornado. And instead of like the twins, Or I guess it's triplets. Or the water spouts could be the Core Lake Tornado. Then you can have the Pilot Mound Tornado, which would be the F3. Then I think it's a Guthrie, Oklahoma, where the drive-through scene was. And then finally, the last, well, it depends, what the last F5 scene, that's at multiple places in Iowa. So you got Cambridge, Iowa, Dayton, Iowa, and some places just outside of Pilot Mound as well. Considering the game is now moving into a more fantasy-like genre, have you thought about adding classes for your player? Like a default class with nothing, a photographer class with the VHS camera? I have thought of specializations, but I'm trying to think what there would be, and if they would impact the gameplay meaningfully enough to be worthwhile. Because right now it really focuses on intercepting the tornadoes and deploying probes. So we're going to get another cell. Is this the cell that we had that was dying? Okay, that's spawned in a much better place. Right, I think we'll head south towards it. I had a road going south there before. One thing I need to change is the zoom level between the mini-map. So I've noticed I can zoom in there, it looks good on the mini-map, but then when I maximize, it's way too big. So I think I need to have like some zoom offset, so when you do this it zooms out a bit, and then when you go back it zooms in a bit. So you're not constantly having to fiddle with the zoom in out. Yeah, I do need to add satellite tornadoes. I do want to add that as well because it would be good for the scenarios, because a lot of the famous tornadoes also spawn satellites, like the El Reno and the Bridge Creek tornado. Is there anything on velocity radar yet? Not yet. Oh wait, yes there is, but it's all the way over there. Okay, we can see the wall cloud. So let's just plan a route. I think we're going to get to a cornfield and then we'll turn left. What are the smaller features on upcoming updates? So that map zooming out thing I just mentioned. What else? Also, I don't like, I'll just demonstrate this quickly. When you get in and out of the truck, it's easy to accidentally enter this menu. I just need to change it so that that only displays when you're actually looking like directly at it, not when you're over here. I want to fix that as well. I spent like an hour experimenting with the tailgate trying to fix that, and I just wasn't happy with it. I ended up reverting all the changes. Got a nice looking wall cloud there. It's kind of got like a lip that kind of lifts up there. I'd say that looks very realistic. It's not just perfectly smooth and symmetrical all the way around. The wall cloud looks realistic. They don't usually form perfectly smooth shapes. Is this thing moving off the map as well? I wonder if somehow I've lost the logic which is supposed to stop this from happening. This will take us most of the way there. Something's not right. If it spawned there, it shouldn't be moving east. Let's try and intercept this, but after this intercept and a few more, I guess, chemical deployments, we'll figure out if something's changed with the spawn logic. The ground speed logic. I guess the direction, because it's doing what it did in other streams where it spawns right at the edge of the map and then moves off the map. So we're trying to catch up to doing 106 miles an hour here. It's a big map. Okay, we're coming towards a dead end here. I think left. Yeah, left and then right. Try and get on a motorway towards it. So if we go right and then right again, I can see there's a stretch of motorway, which could be useful. Alright, let's see if we can catch up to this thing. You may see a brief behind the scenes while I quickly use my coding agent to diagnose this behaviour, where it's moving away from the centre of the map, which means it's not on the ground very long. Whoops, I was reading the thing. Zoom only the mini-map or the camera at a time. You already can. You know, this is going a bit too slow. This is not being as fast-paced as I was hoping it would be. Yeah, so when you talk about zooming the mini-map of the camera, it's shift and scroll. So if you use mouse and keyboard, it's shift and scroll to zoom in and out in the mini-map. And then it's just your scroll wheel to zoom just the camera. With the controller, it's left and right on the D-pad to zoom in and out. And then it's your RB and LB buttons to zoom in the mini-map in and out. Yeah. Can walk cars be really low on strong tornadoes? So they're kind of just randomized right now. I think I could make them a bit lower. Like, so how low the wall cloud can get to the ground is randomized, and so I just need to widen the range a bit to make them possibly go lower to the ground. Tail clouds, I was just thinking of that. I did get AI to code it up a while back, and it wasn't very good. But then I did have AI code up I had to be very descriptive of exactly what I wanted for the multi-vortex tornadoes and for the horizontal vortices. Uh, but it was able to do it. It did a better job now. We're a few versions on from when I last tried the tail clouds. So what I can do is give it reference images, and that seemed to work really well. So if I can get some good reference images of tail clouds and describe it somewhat mathematically, I should hopefully be able to add those into the game. But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. So let's see, what was the problem? Did it lose it? Two concrete issues. The spawn target is currently chosen broadly on the opposite interior side, not in the central map region. So this is one of the problems with AI coding. You specify what you want, and then it starts just making additional decisions on your behalf and doesn't actually make that clear. Deviant Angle survives recycling. Ah, okay. That's what was happening. So what we do is the tornado has a direction it follows. I then have little parts of memory which add and take away random values. So like the values in memory kind of go up and down and up and down, and these kind of steer the overall direction. So rather than having a straight path, these constant adding and subtracting random positive and negative values uh, will over time make the path move one way or the other, but that accumulates over time. So that's what that deviant angle is. Uh, so when the tornado ropes out and the next one forms, it's keeping the same deviant angle. So that needs to be reset. So that's probably the biggest problem we're seeing. So what it's doing is it is choosing. So if this is the map, it is choosing a point near the edge of the map and saying I need to move towards there. But it's accumulated so much path deviance that while its initial point is there, by the time you add the deviance, it's heading this way. So yeah, that needs to be reset. All right, one thing that is good, it does write tests. So if something breaks, it's kind of like a regression test type thing. If a new feature breaks an old feature, it will catch that. Awesome attention to detail, no pun intended. You should have claimed that. That's actually quite a good pun. Oh, I'm hungry. My wife, I said I'm hungry and looked over at my wife, and now she's looking at me like, what? What? I was just saying I was hungry. I was looking around for food. Usually my desk's got at least some snacks. All I've got is a box with 3 Tic Tacs in it. Okay, so I know this is a bit of a deviation, but the whole point was to have a really fun, chaotic chase, and when tornadoes just keep spawning and going immediately off the map, that just kills any momentum that that chase session has going for it. Ah, and if I'm going to do this, I'll need to get Unity fired up again to do a rebuild. Oh, so let's do that wall cloud thing. I'll wait for this to finish, then let's just widen the range that wall clouds can be in terms of height. Okay, so it's going to run the tests, make sure it works. This is actually quite a good thing that AI does because there have been a few occasions where it's coded something and then coded something in the test and then fixed it, which has just saved a bunch of time of me manually testing it. Right, if it just hurries itself up a bit, I can move on to the wall cloud thing, do a rebuild, and we'll start again. That's not good. To give any specifics, just clear that. And when we will do tail clouds in this session, that's probably going to be a multi-hour, multi-day task. But I can just make the wall clouds potentially be lower to the ground than they currently are. Both current and accumulated path deviance angles are reset. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Please find code the wall cloud height is randomized and values. I want to change them. Less than 25% of my 5-hour limit left. Yeah, I have been using it a lot today. So we'll be back up and running, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Randomized here, wall cloud vertical size is between 0.35 and 0.6 of the 800 meter tornado volume. Vertical size, because wall cloud extends down. A larger value produces a large. I want. Okay, so how does it work? Vertical size 0.35, fully formed wall cloud thickness of 280 to 480. 280 is fine. A larger value produces a lower cloud base. Yeah, no, that is what I was expecting. To change that 0.6f to that's a 0.75f. F just means floating point. You got different amounts of precision. You use different amounts of memory. So usually when you're using fractional numbers, or it'll default to a double, which is usually let's say I want to say 8 bytes, but that will be on a 32-bit system. What is it? C sharp size of double on 64-bit system. Okay, no, yeah, no, I was thinking doubles are always 64 bits. I just Google it there. Doubles are always 64 bits and single precision are 32 bits. It just saves memory when you specify floating point. We don't need to do anything. These are such small values. We don't need anywhere near the precision for a double. It just keeps things a bit more memory efficient. Okay, it's done that. All right, let's do build and run. Then when it launches, I'll have to close it and then run it again using my little developer shortcut just so the controller works for testing. Okay, that's rebuilt. Alright, let's just close it. Run with my little shortcut here. Right, let's do another proper chase. Buffness 87, can I get a shout out? Yeah, I guess you just did. Top 70% of chases. Now, we've got plenty of skips. Let's get a good chase. Top 64%. I think I'll put Hunter on this one. Let's just have an absolutely chaotic chase. Top 32%, that seems decent. Alright, let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, so in regards to zooming in and out, so yeah, you can zoom the vehicle in and out completely independently of the nav map, both with the controller like I just did. Oh, you can use the scroll wheel to zoom that, and shift and scroll to do that. Right, let's see what's happening. So the cell's gone up there. I don't think there'll be anything on velocity yet. Let's look at reflectivity. Definitely something to our north. Let's keep velocity up. Probably going to intercept somewhere around here, I'd say. Let's head towards there. So let's head east and then north once we pass the cornfield. Something like, thank you. Appreciate that. So he's able to sway in the wind. Oh yes, they are capable of it. I just haven't... what I need to do is convert the materials to one that reacts to wind. I just forgot to do that since adding forest. So yeah, that's a pretty easy thing to add. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go back into the editor and do a full rebuild. But yeah, it is possible. Well, it might be worth pre-warning these towns. Brother plays the game. Is this tornado going to form big? We'll find out when we see the wall cloud. Plus, even if it doesn't, in this update that I'm testing, we can add chemicals to make the tornado funnel bigger. We'll have to see if it responds to those chemicals. You're like doing kind of like a real world scientific experiment where you come up with a hypothesis that this chemical will increase the size of the tornado. You then set up your experiment, which is deploying your probe. You then observe to see if it actually has that impact. But yeah, let's warn these towns while we've got the chance. And it should warn the whole strip along here, minus that one, but hopefully we're not that unlucky. Let's get the headlights on. I was heading east because I needed to go north. Oh, there we go. Almost exactly where I predicted. So I said we'll probably intercept around here. Looks like it may be a little bit further west than I predicted, but not a bad guess. Oh, there's the wall cloud. Oh, this looks like it could be quite a narrow one. So let's get on. Let's do pressure sampling because that'll increase the size. Are we like directly on the path here? Oh no, it looks like it's heading... Is that heading southwest? Right, well we've got chance. Let's configure the probe. Pressure, because that'll make the tornado bigger. Forgot to close the tailgate, 1 second. Minor annoyance. I should make that an upgrade. Tailgate latch. I just need to figure out how to fix it in the first place. Nothing's touching down yet. Any towns nearby? Yes, these... what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. I say towns, the trailer parks right now, but I do plan on adding actual towns as well. And industrial zones. Like, I've purchased the assets for them. There's one I've got like $300 worth of industrial assets. Like I-beams and like chemical tanks and stuff. It was $300. It was like 99% off. I got it for $3 during a sale. We are directly under the couplet here. I think we're going to have to turn through some of these towns. We may need to warn that one little isolated town after all. It's gone green, so they've all taken shelter. I can't see anything, but we're probably directly underneath anything that would form. Alright, let's get a little bit more west. I think this is actually heading to the southwest. Right, let's try and get eyes on this. I don't quite have full situational awareness yet. So I made this game right. Yes, I made it. So I am using some AI coding agents, but I coded probably more than 80% of the game by hand before switching to using coding agents. I want to get much better Siren model. This is a bit jank compared to the quality of the other models in the game. So it's to the south of us now. Okay, let's head south. Ah, that's touching down right in front of us there. We might see some sparks flying from those. Depends how quickly it intensifies, but if it gets strong enough, we might see some sparks flying from those power lines. I keep having recurring dreams that there's a tornado, and I'm trying to film it on my phone, and my phone's just being really annoying. Like, I'll open it, like the camera icon won't be there, or I'll try and open the camera app, and like all these settings will be coming up, but like none of the words or settings will make any sense. And then like it'll refuse to take the pictures and say like I'm out of space, and it's like really frustrating. It's happened so often, I don't know how I don't realise I'm dreaming by this point now. Because it only ever happens in dreams. I'm good at my game. I mean, I'm good at developing the game or good at playing the game? Hopefully I'm decent at playing the game since I came up with all the rules. Right, where is the tornado? It's behind us now. Whoops. Right, let that be a lesson to pay attention to which way you're driving. Alright, we're off-roading now. Let's turn velocity off so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, if I keep heading this direction, I can turn south and try and warn those towns. Wow, that tornado's flying. I don't know if I want to use the other... I don't know if we should widen it first, or if we use the strategy to slow the tornado down and then... Let's see how it... I think we'll change plans. Okay, I did stop under an underpass. Don't do that. That's just because that happened to be where I stopped when I decided to change this. Let's do temperature, because that will slow it down enough for us to start doing some proper experimentation. Look at that. The way the funnel curves there really reminds me of the Pampa, Texas tornado. Right, we need to warn these towns as well. And they're all separated by one square, which means we need to do it individually. Looks like it's roping out again, actually. That's good, that gives us some time. It's lifted, but that just means it's cycling, it doesn't mean it's gone. Yeah, because I guess I know all the little tricks and behind the scenes things, like the little bits of hidden game logic, so I can use that to my advantage since I got to design that. So based on where the tornado spawns, I can get a decent idea of where it's, which direction it's going to take. Looks like it's turning away from these now. Let's just warn them and hopefully we'll have a good intercept opportunity. Oh, didn't want that. Temperature. Let's try and slow the thing down first. Hope it won't cause too many injuries here. I haven't been able to warn them in time. 2 injuries, 3 injuries. Of course, it will intensify rapidly right on top of the town. Right, we're going to drive into it because I think it's weak enough that the truck can handle driving into it. Just to ensure we get enough samples inside to start slowing the thing down. Assuming it responds to temperature, chemicals. There we go. 70, 80 miles an hour, we can handle this. 12 samples. We need to get 100 samples before it'll release chemicals. What are we up to? 35. Let's off-road a little bit. Let's try and stay somewhat inside the funnel. Oh, I have to be careful here. This thing's intensifying rapidly. It's getting 70, 80 miles an hour, now it's suddenly 140. So let's try and slow it down. Literally wrangle the tornado. Okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Oh wow! 58% ground. We slowed the ground speed by 58%, so this really responds to temperature. Okay, let's get this thing standing still then. Almost. It's got a minimum ground speed of 10 miles an hour, otherwise you'd have games which never end. Well, watch out for that, because impacts do cost you money and samples. Alright. How far are we from the next release? We need 35 more samples. $30, $29, $28, $27, $26, $25, $24, $23, $22, $21, $20, $19, $18, $17, $16, $15, $14, $13. I wasn't too far. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. There we go. So we've slowed the ground speed by 116%. So by this point, it should be barely moving. Yeah, okay. We've managed to slow its ground movement down. So the next thing, we need to change the data type. So let's increase the wind speed. Should increase the wind speed? No. Let's increase the width without increasing the wind speed. Create like the first career mode mega wedge, if we can. So pressure is what impacts the size of it. Gotta make sure I don't get lifted though. He's moving so slowly now that we can get a good intercept. and then the probe will stay inside for ages. $55, so we've got 45 more to go. Where do we need to be? The funnel's really tilting. Right, let's go. Which way is it going? Is it going south again? Ah, that tricked us there. Maybe we need to reduce the path deviance as well. Right, let's try and deploy here. I might go off-road a little bit, because we're getting quite close. Right, south seems to be the place to put it, so let's do a quick deploy. And then get out of here. I think we don't know how much it's going to respond to. I'm surprised it responded that well to ground speed. Plus 4%, so not a lot. And I've got hunt enabled on this chase, so let's see how we can handle that. This looks very 90s to me. Framing of all that. Is the probe still in it? What's the probe picking up? So the other one we haven't tried yet is wind speed, which would actually and there we go, +4, total +8%, which it might actually react to and get us a really intense tornado. Look, it's on level 2 there. Anyway, I can upgrade the temperature sampling rate. Requires postdoc and my rescue score is 2 away. Let's just admire the thing. It's cool to look at. Probe's still in there. I got 12% bigger. I think as long as it's gathering data, we'll keep it there, then we'll do a quick recall, and then I think we'll try and make it more intense. Looks like it's coming this way. There we go, it's 16%, so yeah, this is a bit of a slow burn. Let's... Actually, no, I said as long as it's gathering data. It's no longer doing that now. So we'll do quick recall. Yeah, and go for another intercept. I think if we're off-road it directly to the west, we can bridge across to this road here. And we'll set it to wind speed and see how it responds to wind speed. And if it doesn't respond to that, then it probably will respond to dew point, which would reduce this extremely wobbly path we're having. I think I can see how reducing the path deviance would actually be quite... I was thinking people wouldn't go for that, but it's seeming now that that would actually be quite useful. So let's go for wind, see how it responds to wind. to try and stay in the 70 miles per hour region. I just have to be careful because it'll make the wind field wider as well. I don't want to get pulled into it. So that's like how quickly are we gathering wind data. Okay, give it another 30 seconds or so. Oh, let's watch out for this tree because that'll cost us money. That was close. Hopefully it doesn't decide to hunt now. I don't have a very good escape route. I'll have to go this way and then south. And whenever you're going perpendicular to your escape path, the tornado's gaining on you, essentially. Oh, watch out for these trees. Another tree just came flying up. Okay, 8% wind speed. Okay, we can get this thing intense then. That tree is not leaving me alone, is it? Yeah, of course I had to cause $1,000 worth of damage. Debris went flying there. Right. Yeah, I think we'll go off-road. It's moving slow enough that even if we go off-road, we can still beat it. And it looks like it's more like it's coming towards us now. Heading straight south. Okay, it's hunted. Right. My question is, what wins? The chemicals that were added to slow it down, or the hunt logic to speed it back up again? Doesn't look like it's hunting very fast. Does that override the hunt behavior? The hunt speed? Maybe I'll keep it like... I didn't intend for that to happen. But it's an additional strategy, isn't it? You're kind of vaccinating yourself against potential hunts by slowing the tornado down first. Just do a manual deployment. I feel like we've got time. And we'll just back away slowly. Is he even following us? I'm not even convinced that it's following us. Oh, that looks cool. Seeing all this stuff going flying. Bits of bridge. And it's gone multi-vortex. Okay, plus 8% wind speed again. Okay, what sort of wind speeds are we getting though? Coming this way still. I might have to actually update that so that it actually shows like F6, F7, F8. You can extrapolate the wind speed calculations to actually do that. Oh, I think it's going to get a direct hit from the left flank, which will be the strongest winds. Probe camera is slowing the game noticeably. Yeah, look, the overpass fell apart there, so we can't really use that. The good thing about wind is it's kind of a feedback loop as well, because the wind gets stronger, which means the wind field gets wider, which means when you deploy your probe's making the wind field stronger and wider, which keeps the probe in the wind field for longer, so it can continue to increase the wind field. The whole point of adding this is so people can figure out these cool like feedback loops, kind of like if you played Balatro or Clover Pit. You find like insane feedback loops and almost break the game. Okay, it's now 30% stronger. I do want to get a probe in the middle of there though to see what sort of wind speeds we're actually getting now. Let's do a quick recall. I want to go for like a direct intercept of like the center of the funnel. Let's play it cautiously because the winds will probably be, yeah, I'd say above 350 by now. So that's one thing I need to add. F ratings that are above F5 only for the probe camera, not for the actual real data collection. Are we in the path? Oh, quick deploy, and let's escape. Okay, wind speed's now 40% stronger than it was before. Right, I want to watch from the probe's point of view. One thing I think I need to do is when you switch to probe camera is disable the main camera. Just so you're not rendering everything twice. Because it noticeably lags the game. Oh, has it changed direction again? Right, we need to head west. I really want to know what sort of wind speeds we're getting inside of there. The rotation rate does increase as well. So the rotation rate increases as your release of chemicals impacts it as well. Oh, I think the probe is going to get a head-on hit. Okay, 48% now. We need to remember we're somewhat in the path here. Okay, we're getting 100-mile-an-hour winds and we're not even close to it. Let's turn south. Oh, it looks like we're going to get a direct hit on the probe. 370. I think I saw 370 miles an hour there for a second. You can actually see the subvortices dancing around inside there. Okay, it's gone plus 50% again. You can actually like see the subvortices is like in the tornado right now. Right, I think we're safe from over here. Let's see, let's have a look at that. Yeah, no, as the left flank moves over it again, we should see that. F3, F4, so 240. Oh, when we're getting these spikes, those will be subvortices moving over it as well. 351 I saw there. Whoa, 402. 404 miles an hour. So what we can do after this... Okay, we're getting that positive feedback loop here. So remember 404 miles an hour, I'll figure out what F rating that would be if we use the Fujita scale. Should we start trying to make the tornado wider again? Quick recall, quick deploy, and then I'm quickly going to jump out because we're getting 120 mile an hour winds this far. Pressure is what makes it wider, and we need to be heading south. So I wouldn't do this in real life, but escaping in the same direction as the tornado's moving. You kind of want to do because you want to open up some space between you and the tornado, but preferably get out of the path as well. Okay, it's 20% bigger than it would otherwise be. Let's see what sort of wind speeds we get inside of it again. $260, $270, $290, $305. Can we beat 404 is the highest I've seen. Is it in the path? Oh, it's turning a bit. Hello back. So that was a bad dad joke there. It's like, hello back, I'm Sam. So look at the motion in there. So that's what a 400-mile-an-hour tornado looks like in terms of funnel motion. It's a third of a mile wide as well, which is why the motion is even more violent. But we created that through our experiment with the chemicals. So let's see what we've done. We've bumped the wind speed up 8 times, the size up 6 times, and slowed it down twice. Oh, that thing's really tilting over. Look at that. Right, let's do a quick recall. Let's go for another intercept. Where do we want to intercept? I think if we keep heading south. Keep heading south, open up a little bit of buffer room. Is this still collecting data? Yeah, it is. So let's just keep that going. Keep bumping the tornado a little bit bigger every what is it, couple of minutes? Right, it's heading straight south now. So quick recall. Let's drive straight towards this and figure out where we want to deploy. The right flank seems to be just on the road, so if we deploy a little bit inwards, I kind of want to guarantee a hit. But it has a tendency to wobble all over the place. Right, I think if we deploy here. I want to see what wind speeds we'll measure inside of it. Okay, it's 36% bigger than it would otherwise be. So it doesn't. So the affinity for this tornado is quite low in terms of impacting its size and to some degree its strength as well. Oh, some debris knocked it out the way. It's still in the path though. $200, $220. Right, 404 is the number to beat. If you're a YouTuber, thank you. I feel honoured for that. Are you the only one watching the stream? It says we've got 5 viewers right now. You're the only one interacting in the chat. I always tell people don't be shy. I always enjoy interacting with people in the chat. That's why I do this. Oh, 380. I saw 380 there, not a 404. That must have been like a sub-vortex inside of an already insane tornado. Keep watching the wind speed. I should probably watch my position as well. Look at that monster. I think what I need to do now is collect some dew point data, just to maximise. Let's see, probe camera. Is it getting anything stronger? 240, 238. Right, quick recall. Right, I'm going to hop out the truck really quickly. Set the dew, just because we don't have any, and I want to try and cash in as well. upgrade some of these probe sampling rates, because that actually makes a big difference now, since it affects how quickly the chemicals affect the tornado. I guess your sampling rate impacts how quickly chemicals are released. Right. Quick deploy. Let's get out of here. 156 miles an hour. Wow, I can feel the truck getting pulled. Again, it's changing direction. My last chance to intercept is probably up here. So I may need to do a really quick recall and redeploy. Quick recall. I think I need to drive towards it a bit, very carefully. Okay, reduce the path deviance. So it's probably going to stay somewhere on this. Right, I'm going to deploy there. I'm going to try and escape. So I'm going to try and escape and watch the probe camera and try and see the tornado all at the same time. So, right, let's try and control the camera. Okay, that's what the probe can see. I'm just trying to make sure I'm out of the way of this probably F6 monster. $199. The thing's still braking around us. Oh yeah, it's coming apart in the wind. 204, 208, 210. Come on, I want to see if we can break 404. It's in the funnel. I think it needs to be hit by a sub-vortex to get those really high measurements. So power flash there. 280. Okay, 315. 320. 340. Still haven't seen anything beat 404 miles an hour yet. Oh, we're getting close, 370. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to beat 404. Yeah, it's not. So let's watch the actual tornado. Try and get a little bit further away just so we can see the motion in the funnel. So we'll have to end the stream after this chase, and after we've figured out what F rate and the 404 miles per hour tornado would have. I'm just going to stop on the edge of the map here. We can watch it go off. So it's 0.4. So this is one which really responded a lot to the temperature, which slowed it down, which gave us plenty of time to intercept it repeatedly. But only responded a little bit to each of the other three: the path deviance, the wind speed, and the width. Definitely having the controller vibrating while it's this close to something really adds to the immersion. Whoa, that just came out of nowhere. That just appeared out of the funnel. Something just got shredded there. Look at all that. So I'm going to turn off the hood for this bit. I'll need to fix that. Let's say, let me just get a screenshot of that. Need to fix that line wrapping there. Fix that quickly before push the update. Oh no, it started a hunt. What I'm going to do is go outside of the map for this, just because I needed to despawn, because I need some time to calculate the F rating for whatever that was, and also prepare the update. I don't have time to do another chase and chase into the middle of the map. Hello, Duxie. Feel like it's been a long time no see. Yeah, thanks for joining. I'm not ending the stream yet, but I will be ending it soon. I don't know how much of this you've watched, but I've added chemicals to the game which let you modify the tornado and kind of break the laws of physics, and we're measured 404 miles per hour inside the funnel. So what I'm going to do is wait for this to rope out and then figure out what the F rating was of that. Okay, I think not much is happening here, so I think... Oh, I better not end. No, better not end. I better analyze that data. Okay, $926,000. I'm happy with that. So the probe is kind of blocked because we're 2 points away from becoming a postdoc. Truck upgrades. Aerodynamic coating's probably useful. Actually, it's getting decreasingly useful. I think we'll save the money for when we can upgrade the probe. So yeah, let's end there. And then I'll show how to calculate hypothetical tornado ratings. So we need to look at go to the Fujita scale on Wikipedia. There is a formula. Okay, it's not clear which one to use here. Oh, that's for meters a second. So this one's for miles per hour, I think. So let's see. Well, 261 is the minimum for F5, isn't it? So if we do... Oh, is this for the F rating? What I want is the inverse of that. So we put in a wind speed and it tells us what the F rating is. Let me make sure I've got this the right way around. So for F5, that's 7 to the power of 1.5, because 5 plus 2 is 7 to the power of 1.5, times by 141. Okay, that's not it. So let's do the other one. 7 to the power of 1.5 times by 6.3. 116. Neither of those seem right. Let's see. Formula for Vegeta scale. I did this on another stream. I forgot which website I used. That's the International Tornado Scale. The Vegeta scale. There's a formula for it. I've used it before. Following formula. 6.3 times f plus 2 to the 1.5. Oh, that's meters per second. Okay. Right. So 7 to the 1.5 times by 6.3 is 116 meters per second. So let's get that in miles per hour. Yeah, 261. Okay. So we want to invert that. So use handy trick of Wolfram Alpha. So solve v equals 6.3 times by f plus 2 to the 1.5 for f. It couldn't just give us a night. Let's give me an approximate form. There we go. So let's just make sure I've reverse engineered this properly. So 116 would be our speed to the power of 2 over 3 times by 18.4691 minus 126. No, it definitely doesn't give us an F rating. Alright, we'll do it the other way. We'll go up the ratings. So an F6 would have to have at least, so that would be 8 to the power of 1.5 times by 6.3. So meters per second in miles per hour. So 318 is the minimum for an F6. So what would the maximum be? So if we do F7 then, so 9 to the 1.5 times by 6.3, and then we'll do that. 380, so it's stronger than an F6. So what would F7 be? Wait, I'm confusing myself here. Wait, that was for F7, wasn't it? Right, you know what? We're going to give this to ChatGPT. So let's just collapse the sidebar there. Given the F rate, the Vegeta rating of a tornado is calculated using 6.3 times F plus 2 to the power of 1.5 in meters per second. What would the F rating be for a hypothetical tornado with 1.4 mile per hour winds? Yeah, ChatGPT will do this much better than I can. Now solve for F. So this is the formula we need, V over 6.3 to the 2.3 over 2. So yeah, that was an F7 that we had there, an F7.37. So yeah, I need to use this formula eventually, so it shows us what we're actually seeing in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna fix that little issue I had on the user interface, and then I'll push this update. Thank you so much, everybody who's joined and participated in the chat, and I'll see you all again on